there's this sort of debate going on the internet right now as to what a main event, like what constitutes the main event of a card. Whereas some people are saying it's the last match, no matter what, that's the main event. Other people are saying it's the most heavily promoted match on the card.
You have people who are like the more traditionalists who are saying it's the title shot.
Sure.
And other people who are like, well,
I'm
only coming in to see this one match.
Right.
Even though it's not the top spot.
It's flexible, I think, because the main event of Clash, for me, is the United States Championship. But the main event, as they're billing it, is the AJ Styles Jinder match.
Sure.
So I think it's fluid for fans, and I think it's fluid depending on feuds and how they're promoting. So
Sure.
it's never the last match. They want it to be the last match, so you want to stay,
Right.
but it's not always the last match.
Yeah.
I think it's not a hard and fast rule.
It's interesting because you see in Japan people who like do hold the same respect for the industry as it has been.
Sure.
Like Kenny Omega has been open and saying, no, I'm not, or, everybody's coming for me and Jericho, but I'm not the headliner.
Right.
He's like this weird outlier in the Bullet Club who is, while being kind of a nuisance, is also very, holds a lot of admiration for
The sport.
tradition.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think it's interesting because Hulk Hogan matches used to happen in the middle of the card, whereas we went to SmackDown. Our main event was after two different cards.
My main event.
Yeah,
I was yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Oh, you're talking the Dark Show.
yeah,
the dark match, yeah. I mean, I was up for the Orton KO match.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, the rude Nakamura. Well, I was just like, yes,
absolutely.
This is what I paid
this
my
is where I live.
Yeah, straight up. And so, I don't know. I just think it's interesting that this sort of debate is going on right now. It kind of stems from not only that, but of course, I don't know if you guys saw the sit-down interview with Corey Graves and Roman on Monday. But Roman really seems to think that he is the top performer in the world. And one of his reasons is he's main evented a whole lot of big shows.
Is this kayfabe or is this like
I don't
Roman?
know.
Roman?
I don't know if it's kayfabe or not.
Because Roman's
he seems
character that'd be on
Right.
on
brand.
On brand for Roman's character.
Right.
But for Roman himself to think that, I think he's smelling himself a bit too much.
I
but
hope
I don't
that
know.
is not the case.
See, I'm concerned because I've seen like other interviews that he's done with Corey Graves, and he tends to loosen up with Corey Graves. They're really good friends.
Right.
So he's not coming off as his persona. He comes off as genuine.
Right.
There are actually times, or there's a bunch of times, not even in this interview, but in previous interviews that I kind of like Roman Reigns.
If we got relaxed Roman Reigns more than this sort of character that they've built,
because he could do the exact same thing, just be a little bit more laid back about it, and
Right.
it would come off as genuine. Because he comes off as genuine in that interview.
if you're gonna be Diesel Part 2, just be as fucking laid back as Kevin Nash was.
Yeah.
The crowd will like you.
Yeah.
That's if you're not gonna turn heel, just chill your character out a bit.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so they were sort of debating whether WrestleMania 32, whether the main event was Shane versus Undertaker in the Hell in the Cell, which was the most heavily promoted match, and it's what sold the most tickets because ticket sales went up drastically after that.
Right.
Or if the main event was the actual last match on the card, Roman versus Triple H for the belt.
I don't give a fuck about that match.
Same.
Coming out of it.
No.
Because you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen beforehand. Because Triple H has a character, and his character is to put people over.
Yeah.
Welcome to Kayfabe Club. I am Brian Ferguson, sitting in with
Nick Desjardins.
Robert Thackeray. That is the longest lead-in I think we've ever done on any
stuff.
form.
I'll probably cut some.
It was
stuff.
good though.
Okay. Well, if you cut the lead-in, I'm sorry because it was good, but
Yeah.
it is long. It was long as fuck.
It was like
I'm just gonna
15
cut
minutes of lead in.
Yeah, for real. Sorry.
Some dead space at the very, very beginning if I have to.
Fair.
Jeez.
Find where like a conversation starts. But it's been kind of an interesting week in wrestling. news.
Incredibly interesting week.
A not terribly interesting week in wrestling, match wise.
Not for your main 5 hours.
Stress.
Let's go ahead and get started on that and kind of burn through things really, really quickly because a lot of it's pretty fucking uneventful, if you ask me.
Which is a shame because Raw, we only got 4 matches and they went long.
There were there were more matches than you thought because I only remember 4 of them, but when I went through and like took down notes, there's like 6.
Oh,
yeah.
Either way.
So it started out with Jason Jordan against Roman Reigns. They're bickering about who's going to fight Roman for the IC belt, if it's going to be Jordan or if it's going to be Joe. And Jordan's kind of actually developing a character now where his character is the really talented in-ring guy who's also a whiny little bitch and cries to his daddy.
I tell you what,
he'll be heel in a month. I mean, he's already getting the go-away heat. We've seen that and talked about it.
It was a solid, like as far as Jason Jordan goes, it was a solid performance though. Like he really got a chance to shine as a performer
tonight.
It's
like he came out, he did some improv classes, and he came back, and he was like, "All right, I know what my character is. I know where I want to go.
Motivation.
Let's go."
At one point he picks Roman up, drives him into the corner, and then does it back and forth like 3 more times, and it was pretty solid.
That's the thing. I mean, or the problem with these people is that I can't think of very many people who are boring in the ring.
Fair.
However, at the end of the day, wrestling is storytelling. It's all fantasy. So if that story doesn't make sense, then the match makes no sense.
Right.
I had a bit of an issue with Roman's promo just because I think he said that him and Joe and Jordan, they all cut it pretty decent, like back and forth, so that was good. But there was a part at which Roman said that he earned it, and I was just like, I don't know
debatable.
about that one, man.
Right.
Like you, if you earned it, then like a couple other people I know super duper earned it. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
There's some work that's being put in, but I mean overall it was good.
It was a fine match. I mean it was a decent starter. I don't know that I actually have any of this stuff in order, so we're just going to go through it as I remembered it. We had Sasha Banks against Paige.
It's fine.
And it was the ladies of Raw were coming out with the ladies of Paige.
Yep.
It was actually a match. It was a pretty solid match.
Yeah. Two good in-ring performers.
Good in-ring. They're kind of continuing this stuff along so that
it's the first time Paige has had a match in God knows how long. So I was interested to see how she would do.
It's
not a lot of rust.
Her first match in over a year.
Yeah. Right.
No ring rust. She
had to give her the win.
Yep. I mean, obviously you had to do that. Finn Balor versus Bo Dallas.
Why is Finn Balor wrestling Bo Dallas? That's my question.
Here's the only possible explanation.
I like them keeping the Miztourage alive. I mean,
yeah.
I feel like that match is more to keep the Miztourage alive than to do anything for Finn. Finn's kind of like Finn's. I don't want to say homeless now, but he's just sort of he's aimless. So he's
they want to keep him on TV so that people don't forget about him, but
yeah.
At the same time they've kind of tied up all your other big guys in other storylines.
I'd say third biggest pop of the night, though. I mean,
Finn,
yes.
Finn.
Outside of Joe, because they were in Southern California, and Matt Hardy, which we'll get to.
Yeah,
the third biggest pop of the night.
The only reason I think that this match could possibly exist is I think, and what I really mean is I hope they're trying to build Finn back up.
I hope so.
But obviously you can't. Yeah. It's in everybody's best interest to not build him up with a storyline.
Sure.
Because there's some pretty compelling storylines going on right now, and you don't want to fuck those up.
Absolutely.
Because because WWE hopefully is learning from their previous mistake of the past couple months, really, that you have to have compelling stories to make these characters interesting.
I still don't understand why Finn never, and I wasn't following super heavy when he came back, but why he didn't come back and immediately be like, I was forced to give it up. I never lost. Where's my rematch? And he's just that's never been something that's been brought up. So I just don't. And granted, I mean, I understand it's all scripted and shit, but like within like the script of it, it would make sense for Finn to come back and be like, hey, like I was injured. I never lost. Like I understand that like I need to beat the guy who has it now, but give me a fucking chance.
The closest thing is when they first brought him back, they threw him in almost immediately into a fatal four-way
it was just like here's a bunch of top guys, but here's Roman actually.
Right.
And that was before the brand split. Because I think it was immediately before either either there was already a brand split or it was right before they.
I think it was the first Universal Championship.
Everything.
So
it was right after the brand split, or it was a year it was like almost a full year
because Finn was the first Universal champion.
Yeah,
right, but I think that they kept him, or as the Universal champion, there was only one belt.
No, there was two.
The Universal Champion.
It was created for Raw. The WWE Champion was kept on SmackDown, which is why it's looks like a normal belt, not a red fucking candy cane.
Not the Lord Zed belt.
Oh my god!
This was what happened immediately before they did the Superstar Shakeup.
Right.
Because if I recall correctly, I think this might have been the match that Bray won.
I don't think Bray was in it.
No,
I want to say it was Strowman, Roman, Joe, and Balor.
Was it Joe that won? Because I think
it was either Joe or it was not Balor. I can guarantee.
No, I know that it wasn't.
It was either Joe or Strowman.
Yeah,
because
it wasn't Strowman. Strowman's never held the belt.
Right, but neither is Joe, and this wasn't for the belt. It was to challenge.
It was for
Brock.
It was contendership.
Oh yeah.
And I think it was Joe because they did push him in.
It was Joe.
Yeah,
you're right. It was Joe.
Yeah,
well, that was fun.
Yeah, that was a good match too.
We're all delving back into history almost a year now. Because that was the match, or that was the pay-per-view after Mania.
2 after Mania, I think, because it was great. It was Great Balls of Fire where we got Joe and Brock.
Some of these fucking pay-per-view names.
We had Osku versus Alicia Fox. That was actually a pretty good, that was a really good match.
Right.
All in all, Alicia Fox looks great in the ring. She paired really well with Osku. It of course ends the way that you expect it to.
It's interesting, given the rumors of who is currently training in the PC. Asuka has taken the chicken wing off of her armbar of an Asuka lock, and now it's just a more straightforward armbar.
Yeah,
and that's interesting because Ronda Rousey's been spotted training in the Performance Center.
No.
I feel like
they're saying that she's going to be she's going to be a Mania.
I feel like eventually they're going to build toward that, and I don't really necessarily want that because one of them is far more credible as a wrestler, but one of them is far more credible as far as mainstream star power.
This is that thing where where they're just gonna like build up this women's division and then ruin it with an attraction that is around Ronda. Ronda's going to Brock Lesnar the shit out of this, and I'm just gonna be so unhappy with everything because they're gonna have to protect her because she can't talk. Like I've seen every movie that she's been in. Like she doesn't really give she gives great interviews when she's being her, but the little promo work that she's been on as far as WWE, she just stands there and looks menacing, and it's just not
right.
But let's not pretend that this isn't new.
No, I mean it's been in the works for a while.
Right.
No, what I mean
or
by
are you talking
that
about
is
the
they've done this before.
Yeah, but that's exactly why I'm.
What I'm hoping is that they just keep Asuka and Ronda away from one another.
That would be
Asuka
great.
is such a special attraction. You basically have an attraction, but you have it on all of your shows, and it still draws.
Right, because having an attraction face an attraction is not fun.
No.
I understand that Alicia is a.
Just keep in mind, I mean, they did Tyson against Stone Cold.
Well, Tyson is the referee in that match.
Yes,
but yeah,
they've had Mayweather
versus Big Show.
It's Shaq do some bullshit at one point. It just
Rodman
was in.
Never
in
got a match.
NWO.
Done stuff.
Rodman and Hulk Hogan versus Diamond Dallas Page and Karl Malone.
Yeah, that was fucking.
Oh God.
I understand people want to do things like Stephen Amell was in it, and Stephen Amell's actually a big fan of wrestling.
Stephen Amell is super talented,
he can work.
Club.
Yeah, Stephen Amell has actually announced that he's trying to get all of Bullet Club onto Arrow at some point in time.
That is one quick way to make me watch the CW.
Yeah,
real quick.
Yeah, I'm pro Alicia Fox is her
She's
crazy
good.
Crazy captain thing. I just wish they would do more with her. But I understand the women's division is pretty crowded right now. But I just don't hope they I hope they don't squash her and then just leave her out to die.
I didn't realize this, but she's
funny.
been there for 10 years.
Yeah,
she's one of the oldest. She's one of the veterans of the women's division, which is crazy.
Yeah, I think that she's still pretty young though.
Oh, she is. Yeah, absolutely.
She's the captain.
Yeah, I absolutely love Alicia Fox. They've been doing super great work with her, and she is a hell of a worker.
Absolutely.
I'm really glad to see that they didn't bury her in the same way they buried people like Dana Brooke. Quite frankly, Dana Brooke wasn't all that interesting in the 2 matches that I saw her. They were really short.
She's still really green.
Sure.
She can talk. I mean, kind of. She's fine on the mic, but she's pretty green.
I want to, while we're on the women's thing, just really quick.
Yeah,
I wanted to say that I dislike Mandy Rose's in-ring gear. They switched it up, and I don't know why.
Did they?
Yeah, this week she didn't. She like had her hair curled and stuff like that in the previous 2 weeks. Then she had like more of like a I don't want to say boisterous like gold outfit, but like they went like solid gold and did like a over the
sash.
Yeah, like an over the like shoulder thing where like one of them was, and like her hair was completely straight. And they gave Sonya new ring gear too, and like her hair is different. So Sonya's new gear is great. Yeah, Mandy Rose's, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Sonya had weird ring gear in NXT where she had like the Spartan skirt.
Yeah.
And
it's a similar thing, but for whatever reason, it just looks better with what they've changed it to.
It turns out that they have larger budgets.
Mandy's almost the like the blonde equivalent of Eva Marie, except she can actually wrestle, which I'm fine with because she can actually wrestle.
Still follow Eva Marie.
We had Elias versus Braun. That was a pretty fun match. Just because Elias is getting better with that guitar.
Did anybody notice the guitar was slightly smaller this week?
Was it?
Maybe.
I really hope so.
But either way, Braun no-selling a guitar shot was pretty great. Pretty great.
And nobody bled this time.
Yeah.
So
I think
he went home and practiced on some mannequins.
I just don't think he has an ear for music, that Braun guy.
No.
He just doesn't appreciate true art.
No. Elias is great. Elias got a gigantic pop.
Yeah. He turned what was originally a nothing gimmick into something that is legitimately working and getting over.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still. I don't think they're billing him as the Drifter anymore. But I love that. Like the Drifter gonna drift thing is like my favorite thing ever. Because I still want him to drift through promos because it's funny.
He's just wandering through.
It would be great.
And everybody's just like, what the fuck is happening? And who is this guy?
I think that's something that I would like to see more on the main shows of just more kind of wandering
like wacky interaction.
Yeah, like
stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it used to be a common thing, but now you only see them backstage doing interviews, and they're just not good.
Let me ask you this one thing about this stupid thing. Well, the one thing that I didn't like was that it was a thing. And oh, really?
Elias especially has good comedy timing for that.
I take it back. SmackDown does it well. SmackDown has become kind of like almost an improv troupe. Where like you do have a lot of like the weirder, funnier backstage stuff. It's not super common, but like Rusev Dave came out of that of just Rusev and Aiden English wandering around the back.
Right.
But Raw doesn't do it. I feel like Raw has kind of made the mistake of considering themselves to be like a legitimate wrestling show.
Raw is still the A show. And as such, even though you have guys like Gallows and Anderson backstage who would be perfect for goofy backstage segments, or the Drifter just wandering through, you don't get those because Raw's got to take itself just a little too seriously.
I know they did it one time, but I want the Drifter to drift through like matches, like have him drift through the crowd,
just walk around
during the
playing
match,
guitar,
just like, and then the both of them in the match stop, and then just kind of like look up, and he like goes out through the crowd and out again,
through
and
the other.
Nobody talks about it, and then they just continue on with the match. Just
honestly, you could
Corey
do
Graves
this.
probably shits on it.
Oh, 100% the whole time. You could do this on both shows and have both Elias and Aiden English do it and have them both be very unique and different from each other.
Right.
But still do basically the same thing.
I'd be perfectly okay with that.
Yeah. That match also ends the way that you expect it to. Because I don't think that they're going to let Braun lose to anybody who isn't... it seems like they only let Braun lose on pay-per-views.
He also only wrestles on pay-per-views. He like fucks shit up a lot. He's on TV, but he doesn't actually wrestle.
Well, he will be next week.
Yeah, because I don't think that was an actual match because he got hit he got hit in the face with a guitar.
No, like
there was no bell rung.
He just like
I don't think there was a
Elias
match.
was like doing his thing, and then Braun was like, "Do I hear music?" Nobody's gonna have fun in my town.
Braun just has bad memories of that one guy in high school endlessly playing Wonderwall, and so he was like, not on my show.
Guitar woke the sleeping giant. Just wanders through.
But the big important part of this match is that next week we're getting something called a Monster Among Monsters match, which is the dumbest fucking title for a match I've heard in a while.
House of Horrors? Bray's House of Wacky Horrors?
Give me House of Horrors over Monster Among Monsters match. What?
Don't knock it till you try it.
It's just poor. I just hate the name.
What about one of them WCW cemetery matches?
Oh man, let's just have Kane and Braun do that match that Sting and Vampiro did, where one of them has to set the other on fire.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Sure. We get probably the best match of the night. It was a 205 Fatal 4-Way.
It's a great match.
It was Cedric Alexander,
Gulak.
Drew Gulak,
Tony
Nese, and Mustafa Ali.
Yep.
Fantastic match. Getting
great.
real pop. Getting real this is awesome chance.
At one point, Cedric goes lumbar check crazy, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah, he does like 2 in a row, right? 2 or 3. And he just goes boom, and then like that guy rolls out, and he goes, all right, and then grabs another one. Boom. I'm just
perfect.
Like, God, that.
He does one to Mustafa Ali, which no, does he do it?
Yes, he tried. Gulak got the pin on Ali because he lumbar checked Tony Nese, and Tony Nese rolled out of the ring, and then he lumbar checked Ali, who was down.
Yes,
because Tony Nese did something to him, and Gulak was like, "Man, my match."
This
is
mine.
Yeah,
Gulak win.
You get the great thing of I think he does it a total of 3 times this week, where he stops Tony Nese from going to the top rope.
Yup. Nope.
I love this so much. Gulak is so great. He's got like 4 or 5 different running jokes that I'm just so about.
Given the political nature of his gimmick, I'm really sad that his finishing move, and also he's from Philadelphia, I'm really sad that his finishing move is not called the Philly Buster. Like I don't
know
that's
what
perfect.
His finishing move is. I don't know that I've seen him like finish a match in like his own finisher.
He has a submission. I can't think of what it is, but it's called the Gulak.
Oh yeah, I have.
But
seen that.
I can't remember what it is for the life of me now.
I take it back. This is not in order because his PowerPoint presentation gets interrupted by Braun walking backstage. I think it was.
Yup.
Yeah. You're following it, and I'm like on my Twitter feed, like trying to find the matches because I was live tweeting it, and I was just like, "What is going on with this?"
But either way, that match was just amazing.
It was the best match of Raw.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm trying to think. It might be the best match of the main roster
of the week.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is funny because there's some really good stuff happening off main roster this week.
Yup.
That we'll get to very, very soon. We have Shield versus Bar. It ends in disqualification when Samoa Joe runs in and attacks the Shield. And then, what is it? Angle decides that it's not the end of the match.
Right.
They change it to a no DQ match. Roman comes out and are all for nothing, and they still lose.
Ambrose eats the pin, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Because he goes for the dirty deeds, he doesn't land it, gets hit with
Bro kick,
and then it's over.
Right.
Can we please, dear God, do anybody else at this point?
Tag team match.
I know that we can't because this is going to go to Clash of Champions.
No, it's going to go to
Rumble.
Clash is completely SmackDown, so they're going to probably pull this.
There's 6 weeks until the Rumble.
Yeah, it's going to be a while, guys.
And
you're in for the long haul.
I'm pretty sure what we're getting is. I'm pretty sure what we're getting now is a trios setup of the entire Shield versus Joe and the Bar.
I just want to.
I think that's where they're going.
I want to see a double.
That's assuming that Sheamus can still wrestle.
Yeah, hopefully.
He'll still be able to go for a little while, but he'll
be wrestling lighter. He was already wrestling lighter this week. You could tell.
Yeah.
I mean, just watching him, he wasn't.
Some information came out earlier this week that last week when Sheamus was off TV, he was rehabbing for spinal stenosis, It is a very, very, very bad diagnosis. That's what took Stone Cold out of commission,
Edge
out of commission.
So let's hope it's not bad. That would be disappointing.
Hopefully he doesn't fuck himself up too much. That's really what I hope.
Fingers crossed.
I would love to keep him on TV forever, but the reality is these guys put themselves through so much. I just hope that he makes
nobody's
it out
careers
okay.
last forever, but I just hate it to end via injury, stuff
Right.
like that, because they don't get the decision to take it out, so they don't. No. It takes their decision away from them. That's
you
what
see
sucks.
a lot more people in the WWE who are bowing out gracefully due to injury, as opposed to the indies where they just go until they literally cannot anymore.
Right.
Because you have Corey Graves, who barely into his career got injured.
Yeah. He made it work, though.
He made it work really, really well. So definitely the best of luck for him. Unfortunately, it might be one of those things that they'll have to break them up sooner than later, which I hate to say it, is best for the division.
And it would also be pretty beneficial to Cesaro, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Cesaro's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
and there's not going to benefit
Cesaro's
him. Vince is still matchmaking. Cesaro is never getting a singles push because Vince hates Cesaro, and he has admitted to it. So sucks to be you, Cesaro. We all love you, but Vince doesn't, and I mean that's why you're going to be middling in the tag team division for your rest of your life.
It's a shame.
No, it is.
There ends Raw. SmackDown comes out. I know for a fact that these are out of order because this order doesn't make any sense at all. I have Charlotte against Tamina.
Yeah, I remember that match, kind of.
It was fine.
We get a Riot Squad interruption? Maybe?
I don't know, because it ends with a figure eight.
Okay.
Very poor-looking figure eight compared to the way that they normally look.
Look, I'm just going to say it. Tamina is not a wrestler. She's just not great. And this is maybe the only...
Charlotte had some spots, but Tamina didn't look great at all. I don't know if it's that she couldn't lift her up or if it was supposed to look like that, but that Samoan drop or that not Samoan drop that she did was not.
Nia Jax has the better Samoan has the better Samoan drop in the women's division.
Oh, we didn't talk about it on
shit.
Raw, but
the Enzo Nia Jax spot.
I think Nia Jax might have a crush on old Enzo. Rumor is they're sending her over to 205 Live.
That would be hilarious.
So we have that to look forward to, guys.
They touch briefly on what the last straw to break Mojo Rawley's back was, and do we care?
No.
Okay.
No, get him out of here.
Moving on, we had Rusev Dave versus New Day.
Yes.
That was a pretty good match.
Yeah.
All in all.
Not bad.
Mainly because you didn't have a whole
Xavier
lot
Woods
of New
wasn't
Day
wrestling.
shit doing things.
Are they kind of naturally transitioning Rusev and Aiden English to a more face or at least tweener sort of role?
Seems like
because they're clearly not heels in the way they're promoing.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm here for that.
Well, they're getting a lot of cheers. Rusev can literally get any fucking gimmick over.
It's kind of amazing.
Vince McMahon has been trying to push Rusev as far down as he possibly can, and Rusev just floats.
Not working. Yeah. He's just naturally charismatic.
Cream.
He is the most charismatic Bulgarian on the planet. I just said it. It's true. Find another.
Yeah, I mean it was good.
Yeah.
I mean Aiden English could work when he was with the Vaudevillains.
Yeah.
Rusev is fun and he's more athletic than you would think for a big guy.
He's so good.
He can move and he can jump and he can do a lot of stuff. And Big E, we know we're getting with Big E and Kofi, so it's a fun match. And
yeah, both
the
of
New
them
Day have
are
8 pins twice in a row now.
Yeah, surprising. Yeah.
So now going into Clash of Champions, we are going to have Usos versus New Day versus
Rusev Day and Shelton Gable.
Shelton and Gable.
Yep.
Which quick enough they just whipped up a quick Band-Aid fix for the tag team division that we were talking about, and they were just like, here you go, and I was just like, you know what,
I'm okay with it.
Somebody's listening.
So legitimate question, are we going to be happy as long as literally New Day or Usos don't end up with a win?
I think the Usos can continue win.
Yeah.
I just don't have I have an issue with the New Day continuing to feud with this. If you just add more stuff to the mix, man, just a cake does not make with 2 ingredients.
Right. 'Cause We didn't have the tag
Not at
champs
all.
on TV at all this week.
No.
And mind you, they're great. Let's keep them on TV and let them keep doing tag shit.
The
Because
Usos are
first
the
off,
best they've ever been right
they're
now.
going to fall apart if they ever go singles. And there's
Yeah.
no good reason to make them singles.
Not at all.
New Day, you might be able to do some single stuff, but Kofi's
Xavier
so close
doesn't.
to her.
Xavier and Big E both have floundered as champions or as singles competitors, and Kofi never got past the mid card, unfortunately.
Not everybody's going to, though. I mean, I don't have an issue with not everybody going past the mid card.
You could make the New Day significantly more interesting right now if they stop chasing the tag titles and instead, as a trio, chase the U.S. title and had them defend that under Freebird rules. Whereas
That would be
they're all
insane.
three the title holder. You don't know who you're facing this week.
That'd be cool. I'd be down with that.
That's already way
That would
more
be the
interesting than what they're
craziest
doing.
fucking stipulation to the Freebird rule that's ever been used.
Wouldn't you be interested though?
Oh, I'd be captivated.
Yeah.
As long as they stop throwing out fucking pancakes, I don't really give a shit.
They just kill they make a joke and it's funny, and then they proceed to kill that joke.
It's funny when he's dressed up as a goddamn lumberjack. It doesn't make sense when he's coming out with 18-inch fucking flapjacks.
They're just they just kill every joke. They run it into the goddamn ground.
Don't worry. I think next week they'll probably transition to waffles,
Ugh,
which frisbee better for the record.
that's true. We had here is possibly my personal favorite match of the week for
Okay.
pure comedic reasons.
Okay.
Bludgeon Brothers versus literally nobody.
Okay.
I don't think that they
Jobbers.
got names.
They didn't. No.
They definitely didn't get entrances. I think that they threw out their names during commentary, but I did not pick them up. Here's what I absolutely love about this match. I think it went longer than Bludgeon Brothers' match against the Hype Bros.
Pretty sure. Yeah, but not much.
Their entrance has still been longer than all of their matches combined.
And that's fine. They're squashers. This is what they're gonna do. If you're gonna do it right, fucking bring Breezango back on TV, because that's obviously what they were going towards for Fashion Files.
Yep.
Let's get Tyler Breeze and Fandango on TV, you guys, doing wrestling shit.
Part of me wants this to be still a Wyatt brother or a Wyatt family angle,
Right.
where they are now their own, I guess, portion of the Wyatt family. They're controlling SmackDown as the Bludgeon Brothers and doing their own thing, but still
It seems to be that kind
more
of what it is.
they're more indoctrinated, and they still see Wyatt as the leader, but they're going out and trying to recruit more people into that while Wyatt's going to do its own thing.
Right.
That's what I want to happen, but I don't know because if you can have two Wyatt families or two Wyatt kind of things going on in both, and somehow combine them or
It would
or
be
merge
nice
them
if you were
together.
to have some talk between the brands and have them just acknowledge Bray and have them just following the
following his credo. I've sent you off into the world. You will now be my prophets, be my messiah, or not messiahs, my missionaries,
Right.
out to SmackDown, teach my word, and
They're the
and-
apostles.
and bludgeon everybody.
And realistically, one faction spread across two brands makes all guys look stronger.
Yes.
Absolutely. Just based upon
because Bray
you're here and
at
there.
that point Bray doesn't need to fucking wrestle because he has somebody destroying the competition.
So I don't think it's a Wyatt family cross, but that's what I'm hoping for. It's what
That's
the
your,
way. Considering I've gotten nothing from either of them, and we don't know. That's my current
your
headcanon as far
headcanon.
as this goes, and I think it's just better than what they've put out.
Right.
Whatever.
We had Bobby Roode against Baron Corbin.
Yep.
While writing these notes, it took me about 5 minutes to remember Baron Corbin's name.
He's
I feel
got
really
such
bad.
good his Tron is fantastic, and the music is great, and I just
yeah.
don't care about Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
But they are doing. He was better, and maybe it's because I'm looking at him differently because of that dark match. But I felt like he's working well with Rude, and I feel like Rude, who's a very Corbin's still young-ish
Right.
as
Yes.
far as wrestling goes, and Rude's been around around the
Corbin,
block
I think,
a couple times.
is probably in his late 20s, early 30s. And he's a pretty young guy.
Rude's like, I think like everybody's gonna come out of this thing looking great. I think that everybody's gonna come out of this smelling like fucking roses because Rude, I think, is I don't want to say teaching Corbin, but like
he's elevating him.
Yeah.
I know what I want to see. I want to see Ziggler take home the belt. I really do.
No, that's exactly what I want.
I think Ziggler's in this match to eat the pin.
I'm afraid that's what it is. Ziggler has been was on Edge and Christian's podcast over the past week, and they were talking about that, and he's very, very openly said, look, I don't really like that this is the position that I'm in. It's nice that they're letting me not just lose, but it's kind of a bummer that my purpose is to bring up the new guys.
Sure.
He sounds pretty adamant that unless if WWE really changes like his role in the company, he's going to be gone. He's going to be going to the Indies and do some cool shit there.
I had a great angle on what in my head, and I can't really get the whole idea of it. But I do want, like you said, I want Ziggler to take the belt, and I want Rude and Ziggler to run a program because you could tell immediately that they
are great together.
Yeah, that they would have a lot of chemistry and Rude. I mean, Ziggler's been stealing gimmicks, and Rude I just feel like it'd be good. Like all three of these guys, I think this is gonna make all of them look pretty good. I don't think anybody.
I know that I don't.
Coming out of this,
starting out, I definitely didn't give a shit about Baron Corbin. He's getting better week after week.
He's showing more of what we saw during that dark match. He's showing a little more actual character, other than this. Just I'm great.
Now here's a little nod to that Edge and Christian podcast that Dolph Ziggler was on. They were talking about his college career.
Sure.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Dolph Ziggler wrestled for Kent State.
Yep.
And he was like one of the greatest of all time. Like he had an insane record. He's lost very, very few collegiate matches.
WWE's just trying to bring him back to the mean.
Yeah, is that what it is?
His win-loss record is just insane. Let's bring him back to
ground him a little bit.
Edge and Christian both said that they wanted him to talk more about his college legacy, and that would be kind of a cool thing to bring into his gimmick, especially now that he's talking more about like bringing the Flash out of wrestling and kind of going back towards wrestling.
Dolph would be very interesting as a shooter-style wrestler as opposed to trying to be Shawn Michaels.
Well, no, I don't know if you guys caught this.
He's already been. I think as a heel, he has been the most shooty since CM, and I think that would really work because he could.
I
don't know. He shot on Baron Corbin.
Like doing super kicks.
He shade.
Yeah.
And because
I don't know if you guys caught this.
God.
During the promo that he cut after laying the two out, he mentioned how he was like one of the greatest at Kent State.
Sure.
Did he?
It actually, or so he did what Edge and Christian wanted.
I can't remember.
And he threw that little line into his promo.
I can't remember what he was doing on the mic, but he was on the mic for that match, and he was awesome. Like he can talk.
Yeah.
And
he caused the DQ.
Yeah, but I was just so engaged in the match because like one, Bobby Roode was there, so I'm gonna pop for Roode. Corbin's looking good. I'm paying more attention to Corbin, and Ziggler was commentating, and listening to Ziggler talk about it was good because it was like he was talking about the match, but he was also kind of like at one point I think he screamed at Corbin like, "Hey, stop looking at me like get after Roode or something." And it was just really, it was the most engaging.
He's doing some really really cool heel shit of being like like. They were talking about how much he hates Bobby Roode, but he's talking about like, hey, Bobby Roode is good.
That's what it was. Yeah, he was like
he was doing a really good job at elevating his opponents and kind of being like, I appreciate their wrestling or their in-ring ability, but I don't appreciate the Flash.
Right.
And it's kind of doing a good thing for his the gimmick that they have going on right now. To close it out, we had Orton versus Zayn. The stip on this match is KO is going to be handcuffed to the ring.
Yep.
Or to the ring ropes.
Yep.
I was so happy with this tweet. Like
I don't know what this is. Thackeray apparently tweeted out, look at Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
It was live look at Fight Owens fight and at Sami Zayn, and it was from Who Framed Roger Rabbit when he's trying to get himself out of the handcuffs and Roger Rabbit's helping him, and he like takes his hand out of the handcuffs and he puts it back in. Like that's all I could think about during the whole match. It's
Real
fantastic.
good.
They're doing some really good comedy work. They're really really funny. They're bringing a lot of personality to the show.
They mesh so well.
It's one of those great things that like. It turns out that best friends work well together on TV.
Right.
Because they already have the real life chemistry. Like
they have a real Edge and Christian kind of vibe going.
Sure.
Where you get that they care about each other and really do love and respect each other.
Right.
And they're bringing like this fun character stuff of it feels like the way the two friends would bullshit with each other.
Absolutely.
Zayn ate the pin in this one, but he didn't get the RKO. He lost via roll-up, which I think makes Zayn look fantastic.
Yeah, Sami looked real good. And it helps.
And then they all ate Kinshasas.
Yes.
To the face.
We are getting KO and Sami Zayn against Randy Orton and Nakamura.
This
which
adds like a double edge of like I don't know why to any of this, because like Orton, once again, I just feel like shouldn't care about brand loyalty, and then Nakamura, who would understand that Orton for the whole of his life has been a mercenary, would come out and help him.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I mean, I whatever. Randy Orton is getting more hair by the fucking day, and I guess he's more face because of it. That's all I can get. I don't know.
he's gonna go Super Saiyan pretty soon.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's the Bosley treatment is bleeding into his brain and making him a friendlier person.
Yeah,
That's what's
it's
happening.
fucking
Less
weird
voices is what's
it
happening.
Now, question:
Have you ever ate game meat?
Oh my god, that promo was terrible.
Oh, Sarah Logan, please. It's so weird because they're
You ever
really...
eat game meat, Daniel? And I'm like, I mean, what does this have to do with
They had
anything?
some really great Daniel Bryan spots this week.
They're really playing up this Southern thing for Sarah Logan, and
Me and my papa.
I wish they would. What'd she say? It's like my papa always said, you look about as shaky as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs.
And I was just like, what?
To which Corey Graves replied, "What's a papa?"
Yeah.
Which was solid.
Corey Graves so much.
But
Sarah Logan
Corey
needs
Graves
to be the
is
mouthpiece
exactly-
for everybody.
agreed.
Corey Graves reacted the exact same way that I did to moving to Kentucky.
What's
Fair.
a papa?
But what I was gonna ask
Loved
is there any way Daniel Bryan does not turn heel out of this whole story?
Oh no, you could see it. Shane said something about like them getting fired, and he just like kind of gave the Shane the look like, hey,
Right.
this is my show. You don't know what you're doing, and you're gonna make this worse. Like Kevin
Right.
and Sami suck.
It's
but
very
they
very
work.
clear what's going to happen because the Clash of Champions match is going to have Shane as the ref. Shane has always turned heel when he's the referee.
You think he's going to turn heel? I think they're going to turn Brian heel, and it's like
I don't think so.
and
I
he's
think
gonna-
what we're going to see is
Headbutt to Shane.
Shane goes heel,
Could we get a?
and then KO and Zayn kind of face turn.
I was gonna say, could we get a 4-person turn here where both Shane and Randy, who Shane has brought into this, turn heel on Kevin and Sami, who are kind of like the crowd is cheering for them.
They kind of are, because I mean,
Are they?
especially
Because I'm
with,
hearing a lot of boos still too, and I just don't.
it's a mix. It's
Yeah.
definitely a mix.
I don't think anybody's going to be opposed to a face Owen Zayn combination.
I really like heel Owen Zayn. I really like the fact
Yeah,
that they're being
I mean,
shit
that's
heels
fair.
and like being like fuck everybody and fuck the system, because like it's the first time Sammy's been heel and it's the first time he's had any sort of traction.
You can
and
do
KO
a-
works so great as a heel.
You
He's
can do a
such
really
shithead.
kind of cool DX homage to this of like they start as heels and they're doing their fuck the system thing
Sure.
and everybody's a bunch of idiots and slowly make it to the point where the powers that be are pushing and pushing and pushing to the point where they are clearly in the wrong.
Right.
And then you just kind of do the turn as you do.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think there's good and bad that comes from this.
Sure.
This gimmick is, I mean, this whole angle is being done really well because it could go a multitude of ways right now, and that's really kind of what you want.
Heel Randy and Shane are great, but I don't like face Sami and I just wish everybody was a heel. That's just me.
That's true. Heels are more compelling.
I root for bad guys.
The only thing that's really awkward for me about Sami's heel turn right now is that he's still trying to skank to Kevin Owens music, which doesn't quite work because there's no horns.
Now,
but if we could get a horn remix of the Fight Owens fight song, I'm perfectly okay with that.
that would be pretty great.
Pretty
I'm
okay
pro
with that.
What do you guys think? Or before we go on to 205,
Oh.
who had the better show this week?
I'm gonna give it to SmackDown.
You think so?
Not necessarily as far as match quality, but as far as like the overall presentation. SmackDown didn't really drag at any point for me.
Yeah, the 2 hours really helps.
I actually
2
do
hours-
agree with you.
The 2 hours really helps.
Last week, or wait, no. No, I think this week last week Raw was hot garbage. And SmackDown was pretty good. I feel like it was kind of the other way around. I'm not saying that SmackDown was hot garbage. But
Raw was
kinda
better.
stepped up their game.
Right.
Raw was better and it made it closer, but I do think SmackDown put on the better show, and I do think the non-extra hour allows them to cut out a lot of that.
Tighter.
More
that-
concise.
Yeah, that bullshit filler. But there were still some very good matches in Raw.
Also, I will admit to a bit of bias because I've had the Bludgeon Brothers like guitar riff stuck in my head since right like
Generic metal music.
I know this won't happen, but if they somehow get a Mania match, I just want like Amon Amarth to play them to the ring at Mania, just bearded Vikings.
Here's what I
please.
want. Because what they seem to be doing is whoever comes in or whoever they face comes in before them.
Right.
Don't shut off their music when they get into the ring and the match starts. Just let the music keep going as it normally would.
Yeah.
And just let it go the whole
I'm
time.
okay with that.
I think would
okay
add
with
to the
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
The sense of doom and dread of
Because
the
you
local
don't
jobber
need
team.
commentary on that or on those matches because they're so short.
Right.
I think it would just be one of those things of like,
It's
look
so
at these
quick
two
that they
people
don't.
destroy
It
stuff.
actually is more work to turn the music off and turn it back on.
Sure.
Than to that's fine.
I'm just hoping 2K19 gives me the ability to slap my partner in the face.
Whap.
All right. On to 205, which was
Great this week.
was really, really good. You had pretty much the continuation of
Gulak is fucking like there was so much Gulak, and that's all I like.
They
It was the
know.
Gulak
They
show.
realize
He gets
how over he is right now, and it's great.
I'm hoping he takes the title. I want him to take the fucking title so goddamn bad.
That's where the story has to go, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's gonna be Gulak versus Zoe.
right.
And at this point, like it's the Zoe train's gonna go with Gulak because Gulak's the better leader. Like,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Drew Gulak should not like Enzo. So
Right.
Drew Gulak turning on Enzo makes the most sense.
Sure.
I think my ideal situation is Enzo thinks that Gulak's going to eat the pin,
Right.
and then Gulak just rolls over him.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, there was multiple great Gulak spots, but one of my favorite was Noam Dar going up to the top rope, and he like stopped. He got out of his chair and was like, "No, don't go up there." And it was just like, "What?" And he was like, "Down, get down." It was just like, but Zoe Train. He's like, "Yes, Zoe Train, down, get down."
He did that again later in the Tony
Nese match too. Yeah.
Can we point out that this is now the Gulak train, Drew?
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
that
man.
was amazing.
It was great. So the whole point of this week's 205 was Enzo wasn't there. He was off doing
Nia Jax.
Nia Jax. And
How you doing?
you had Drew Gulak
How are you doing?
as the leader of the Zoe train.
Right.
So he was trying to fix them from their previous losses. Spoiler alert, that doesn't happen.
Nope.
But you do get some great Drew Gulak moments pretty much throughout 205 Live.
Oh, yeah.
The promo where he called, he was doing the Justice League thing, and it's the second time he's done the Justice League thing, and he calls, what's his face, Wonder Woman.
Tony
Arya
Nese?
Davari.
Ari Davari,
is,
yeah, because
Wonder Woman.
Nese is Aquaman.
Right.
And he says, he calls him Wonder Woman because he's brave and he has a great sense of fashion.
Yeah,
and he's like, and don't interrupt me again. And I was just like, yes. It's like he's like, don't go there. I know what's best for us. Be
and
quiet,
I also
Wonder Woman.
know comic books.
Yeah.
I truly hope he can keep this and stay over until WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is a 90 fucking hour show, and I want at least 5 minutes of that devoted to the Drew Gulak PowerPoint.
I really feel like
I need the PowerPoint.
If you have Drew Gulak actually like go through at 3 or 4 points different, if you can keep him in his no chanting gimmick and his no flying thing, have him roll through the crowd with a no fly zone or a no chanting like thing, and just kind of like put it up during parts and just kind of be like down, just when somebody starts chanting, just like no chanting and just have him like freaking out.
So here's the tricky thing. You guys both know me. We're all good friends here.
Yeah.
Is Drew Gulak written specifically for me?
I'm not entirely sure that you're not writing Drew Gulak.
Gulak is great. Rarely do we agree so heavily on one wrestler and everything, but he's just everything
just
about him.
This character is so well written and so naturally Listen,
Is he maybe the best? He might be one of the best written characters across WWE right now.
Oh, I wouldn't argue with that at all.
Because he has the most consistency all the way through. The least consistent thing that he has is him being on the side of Enzo.
Right.
That's the least consistent thing that he does.
Right. I think
a lot of this is just Gulak being great, like the person that is.
And he's a Philly guy, so you're kind of already you already got Thackeray on board.
This is a man that can get PowerPoint over as a chant. So give him the Microsoft Office sponsorship and let him go.
For sure. So Noam Dar faces Cedric Alexander. It goes to a pretty good match.
Yeah.
Cedric Alexander gets to do his shit, and he always looks good doing whatever he does. The dude's just jacked as fuck. They mentioned it in the announcer booth that he is, by a wide margin, the biggest guy in 205 Live.
Tony Nese or
Cedric Alexander.
Oh yeah. Well, Cedric dropped 20 pounds to be in the Cruiserweight Classic last year. Not last year. Yeah, last year.
It was last year.
Because in PWG, Cedric was wrestling closer to 230, still doing the same stuff, but wrestling closer to 230.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Or after that, we had Brian Kendrick versus Grand Metalik. Holy shit, was that match good.
Great over-the-barrier Hurricane Rana spot from Metalik to Brian Kendrick.
I don't know. I was too busy trying to think of jokes about Kendrick's jacket. I really didn't watch the match.
Man,
I feel bad.
I would steal that jacket in a heartbeat.
Because, that jacket is just too big for him.
Oh, yeah.
It's like he's wearing, his dad's jacket or, his big brother's jacket, and he's trying to be cool, and he just...
I think...
It's a hand-me-down jacket, but he doesn't want to get rid of it.
I don't know.
I think Kendrick's,
because it holds sentimental value to him.
I think Kendrick's 5'9",
yeah, he's
maybe,
tiny.
And he's clearly wearing Zach Wilde's jacket, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
but whatever.
I'm trying to remember how that match ends.
Kendrick gets the captain's hook.
That's how it was. Yes.
Metalik.
Kendrick also screams a lot, which I don't like.
Yeah.
He's always screaming. Him and Ballard have this thing where they're just like Ballard goes he sounds like Arnie, and Kendrick goes he's just screaming all the time.
Everybody's ears.
Why do they scream so much? That's all that I remember from Kendrick's match is that he screams so much.
I think it's sort of pushed into him in Japan because
do they scream? Is that a thing?
Some of the guys do. Some of the English speaking guys do, just because it's something that the crowd's gonna understand if you're just they're not gonna understand if you say fuck you, but they're gonna understand if you're just kind of yelling. So I think it's just
he gets to the captain's hook and he just yells, and I'm just why are you yelling? You're the one doing the damage.
Right.
Are you powering up? I don't understand.
That's exactly what they're doing.
That's
Whatever.
Kendrick's hulking up.
I think I only really like Brian Kendrick because he's with Jack Gallagher now.
That's
moving
fine.
On, we had Tony Nese versus Rick Swann. That was a really fun match. Probably the best work that I've seen Tony Nese
two-time
do.
I said it. Two-time.
You get some backstage action with Rich Swann doing his promo. And clearly trying to fuck that interviewer.
Would you not? I mean, come on. Jeez.
I mean, fair.
It was a pretty good match. Tony Nese doesn't really do much for me, to be totally honest with you.
Tony Nese's gimmick is, hey, look at my abs.
Yeah.
Which is not much of a gimmick. I mean, he can wrestle.
Yeah.
And I mean the motherfucker is jacked, but no, he's probably
got great hair.
Yeah, he does.
He's just a good-looking guy. I watched 205 Live the first time with my wife a couple weeks ago, and as soon as he came on the TV, she was like, "Who is that?" And I'm like, "Really? You need to calm down, lady."
No, I was like that too. He's great.
He's great. He just has the personality of a cardboard box.
Sure.
Oh, but you pair him with Gulak, and he's immediately
right. Exactly. Like
and like him and Gulak seem to have this weird like friendship thing going on, where he's like once like he's like, me and Tony, we're the people, like right. Batman, Aquaman, you know, like
they're team PowerPoint.
Right.
I'm okay with it.
I think Nese might go with Gulak if they split. If the Zotrin splits,
will.
it's going to be like Noam Dar and Wonder Woman, I forget his name, and Zoe, and then Tony Nese might defect with Gulak.
I can see that.
Yeah.
That would make the most sense.
The question is, does Hideo come in as a heel then?
I don't know. I don't know anything about.
Well, you're going to turn Gulak at that point. You turn Gulak and Nese, and then
yeah,
Hideo probably comes in as a heel.
Because Hideo works. If Hideo wrestles nasty, if he wrestles like he was, for his last few months in NXT, he'll be a fine heel. I mean, he's,
Yeah, I think Hideo comes in as a heel.
He's fantastic.
They've got way too many faces already that are pretty bland and not doing anything. So
yeah, it's like a weird thing where like some shows have almost all heels. And then 205's almost all faces except for the Zotrin.
Give
and I think
Jack Gallagher and
Kendrick are actually they're like this own little thing going on. Like
they're their own. Yeah,
they have nothing to do with the Zotrin. They've had no interaction with them for whatever reason. They're just like fucking shit up on their own, kind of for no reason. I would like to see what happens with them.
I think TJP made a heel turn.
Yeah, but where's TJP?
But he fucking vanished.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's off playing video games somewhere, I think.
Probably. On to NXT. They're doing the. They're building up to a takeover where it's going to be a fatal 4-way for the #1 contendership.
NXT feels so weird when I go from immediately watching the big shows to watching NXT. It's just such an interesting feel.
Right.
It's so weird.
It feels like, honestly, to me, it feels like old ECW.
Yes.
Without the beating people with
you have the
objects.
Small arena with the rabid crowd and guys who are
have
really trying to get over. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or even like all the things that
it's amazing that Paul Heyman's fingerprints aren't on NXT.
No, but Hunter's are.
The things that I would kind of roll my eyes at for them to begin with or do during Raw or SmackDown are I'm fine and I actually think work real well for NXT, like the William Regal opening up and explaining the Fatal 4-Way. I was like, all right, that makes sense. Yeah, that works. I don't know why this works, but it works. Or like the Sullivan and Moon kind of like promo that they did, like that worked, and I don't know why it worked, but it just
the bad press conference where it's clearly college students holding
it shouldn't work. It looks bad, and I don't know. It just does.
It has like it has an early '90s.
It's got like
indie wrestling.
Yeah, like I don't. It's weird.
Well, and as far as Regal goes, Regal's just kind of a respected figure in wrestling, and also he talks for like 2 minutes as opposed to your 20-minute Raw opening promo, your 15-minute SmackDown.
Doesn't
promo.
overstay his welcome.
He's only there to sum up the facts. Here are the facts.
If you see Regal, you're gonna get something important, and that's it.
Yeah,
right.
There's always goodwill with him because of that. The last time we saw him before this was he walks out and announces motherfucking War Games.
Right. We had
not Lars. It was Killian Dane.
Killian Dane versus Trent Seven for one of the spots in this Fatal 4-Way.
Right.
Killian Dane was like a full, he's got like a sweater on him or something. He's a hairy man. He looks exactly like Logan in this Astonishing X-Men thing. He's just so hairy. He's like Robin Williams.
I googled Killian Dane body wax while that match was happening. 0 results.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
God, he is just.
You could knit a sweater off of that man.
I'm pretty sure he is part bear.
Yeah.
He's literally what happens when a Scotsman fucks a bear.
I want to like him.
He's great.
But I can't because he's so furry that it is distracting from everything else that he does.
If you just imagine he's wearing a shirt like Kassius Ohno, he's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's what I do.
But yeah,
Sweater.
Trent Seven is great.
Yeah, he put on good work. It was really fun watching that match because neither one of them are in good shape.
No.
For pro wrestlers.
No, but they can fucking go.
Yeah.
You know.
It was a Haas match.
I can't. And
Trent Seven makes me feel good about myself.
Yeah.
Is it the mustache? Because that just like sort of is life affirming for
The
me.
rest of it.
It's just good.
Like, I could do this.
I'm like, you know what? I don't look so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. That match
I can't do that, but I don't look so bad.
That match was one of those
Try.
matches that I looked in the mirror afterwards and I was like, I'm all right.
Yeah.
It's not great, but I'm not them.
No, it was good. It was real good. All the British strong style guys wrestle really well.
Yeah.
Killian Dane is. Every guy in Sanity is a good worker, but Killian Dane, especially for his size, is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
This is we kind of called this when we were at SmackDown last week. This was a pretty promo heavy week.
Sure.
Because we had a promo with Undisputed Era.
Yep.
We had a promo with Lars Sullivan.
Yeah.
Lars Sullivan.
Ember Moon did some talking.
Peyton Royce.
Peyton Royce did some talking, but
Peyton
that was
and
during
Billy,
the
yeah.
Ember Moon.
Right.
I feel like I'm missing
I think that was it.
And Regal.
Regal,
Yeah.
and also Almas.
Almost, yes.
Oh yeah,
Did,
I forgot.
And
completely.
Selena Vega.
That was kind of a longer promo.
I was okay with it.
Almost
was a-
said like 25 words, and 15 of them were championship.
Yeah.
In his defense, he doesn't know a lot of English.
Well, I think he spoke a bunch in Spanish also.
Yeah.
Because I looked up from like doing something on my iPad, and I'm like, are there subtitles?
Most of it was Spanish.
There was one match that really threw me off because it was Ruby Riott versus Sonya Deville, who are currently.
I think they're finishing up something there. I'm not necessarily sure, but I mean, you can tell that
We
Riot
were-
is the best female, like in terms of the ones. Riot would outwork Paige, in my opinion. Like Riot is great. Like
She's great.
God.
We were pretty sure that they were going to have a lot of like taped up or pre-taped matches, and I think that this
Right.
is one of them.
So this is coming off of a feud that Sonya and Ruby had prior to the previous takeover. That was
Yeah.
actually was supposed to, it's basically their farewell match for NXT, and they went
was
a
a good
good
match.
15 minutes.
Yeah, it was great.
Solid work.
Sonya goes over on Ruby. Ruby does a hell of a job.
Yeah.
Both of them look great at the end of it.
And Ruby
It
beat
was-
her 2 weeks ago on NXT.
Right.
So they kind of traded wins, so it makes both of them look good
Yeah.
going into.
And it's a
Going
good
into
way
the
to
main
sort
roster.
of build them up to
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
We had the last match.
Oh,
We're all pretty in, this is pretty great because we recorded at my house. You came over. We started talking about this match.
right.
Nick. And then Thackeray walks in and immediately mentions this match.
Right.
So it is in unison without priorly discussing this. Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling versus Kassius Ohno, match of the week.
This is a 5-star match. Straight up.
yeah.
I tweeted.
I was watching
That's
it
what I
and I was
did. I
like-
just tweeted at Cassius and Johnny Wrestling and just put 5 stars. And I
Yeah.
was like, this is great.
I was
this
like-
this is fantastic.
Am I watching a 5-star match? Because
Yeah.
this is incredible. So many a lot of false finishes, a lot of really
yeah.
big moves. You get the highlight from all of them.
Oh, absolutely.
They really put it all out there.
I've seen this match before in terms of, Kassius Ohno as Chris Hero on the Independents versus Johnny Gargano when he was still wrestling on the Independents. And it was great then, but just like this match especially, so Johnny's been on a losing streak and that's kind of been his sort of thing. Like he's a great wrestler and he hasn't been able to pull out a big one since his tag team broke up. And then Cassius Cassius was on a winning streak, lost to Lars, and hasn't really gotten to show off how good of a wrestler he really is lately in NXT.
I remember like checking like where I was on time on this match.
Right.
And like as it started, it was like 20 minutes. That can't be right.
Yep.
And it was just amazing start to finish.
You got a standing ovation at the end of the match.
Yeah.
And some nasty spots.
Yeah, there were some stiff shots on Ohno's parts, and like there was a point at which they both hit the grate a couple times, and I was just
like
that
diving tornado DDT.
Yeah, and I was just like, ooh, God.
The Kassius at one point
with his elbow towards the end of the match.
Like the flying elbow to the back of Gargano's head is brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal.
Gargano gets the win on this.
Yep.
Ohno is on the ramp. He's walking away.
Yeah.
Gargano calls him, waves him in, has him come back to the ring. They do their kind of gesture, just like the match was great. Congratulations, you deserve all of this. You have Ohno leaving. He looks at Gargano and like he mouths, "You're the best," and does the title gesture around his waist. And it's just this huge show of respect between two people at the top of their game.
Two great workers. Like I said, the crowd gave it a standing ovation. I mean, you couldn't have asked for these guys to put on a better match.
Anybody who's listening, if you are not watching NXT, you need to go through this week, watch NXT or at least watch the last half hour, because that match is
NXT consistently and
far and away.
I don't know if it's because it's like this because with Raw to SmackDown tends to put on better, more tight shows because they have less time to fill. And I think it's the same thing with NXT, is that they have less time to fill, so they put the best of it out there and they really make the most of what they're happening. I mean, on top of Triple H doing a lot of the stuff and mapping out the matches and all that goodness, but yeah, I mean, it's just NXT tends to have the better match or the better overall show week in and week out.
Next week should be fantastic.
Oh my God,
if you're not watching NXT, you should next week on USA Network on Wednesday night will be the network television debut of NXT for the WWE's holiday week.
Two gigantic matches already announced. You're gonna have Lars Sullivan against someone. Is he going against Roderick? Maybe
it might be Roddy. Yeah, I think it might be Roddy.
Shit, it is Roddy.
He did cut a promo. Coming out. Roddy.
That's what that was. Or that's what that was about. It's going to be Lars Sullivan against Roderick Strong.
And I think our main event
is going to be
Alistair Black versus Adam Cole, which is that's great.
I'm going into this match stressed out.
Yeah,
because like Adam Cole is over as fuck.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Super over.
Sure.
Alistair Black is definitely on his way to the top.
Right.
And he is on his undefeated streak.
Yes.
And I'm looking at this match and I'm like, I know they're pushing Adam Cole.
Right.
But can you give him the win? And can you do this on TV as opposed to on a takeover? I don't know. Like, I genuinely don't know. And it feels really fucking uncomfortable. In a really exciting way.
There's no way. I don't think there's any way to like guess what's going to happen with this, because it just if you want both these guys to look good, I don't know how both of them look fantastic coming out of this, because you can't kill Alistair's streak.
Right.
But the Undisputed Era are running house right now, and if you want them to believably run house, Adam Cole has to run house too.
Right.
So what do you do?
From a Mark standpoint, I want Adam Cole to win.
I know that you want Adam Cole to win. I am still not completely on the Adam Cole train.
So good. He's so good.
We know that Thackeray is. He bought the fucking shirt.
I think Alistair has to take this because
Alistair takes it. Yeah.
I don't believably see them pushing heel versus heel, Adam Cole versus Andrade Cien Almas. I don't see that world. I feel like we're either gonna get Johnny. I don't think.
Johnny's the only one that makes sense, because you can, assuming that you have Alistair, Killian, Lars, and
does Lars
Johnny
beat Roderick? That's the question.
Yes,
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. I think
Lars beats Roderick via interference by Adam Cole.
That's fine. Yeah, I see it either as sort of continuing the.
Wait, what did you say? I'm sorry.
Lars beats Roderick via interference by Adam Cole.
Okay, and then that's how you can set up the loss for Adam Cole. You can have some tit for tat, have Roderick Strong go in and
or have Lars hurt Adam, quote unquote, after the match to be like, hey, I wanted to win this like legit, and I'm a monster, and then like Adam goes in with a quote unquote injury to like his arm or his leg or something like that, and Alistair just decimates him.
Right.
I don't know. I'm really, really excited.
And also like sort of from that perspective, Adam Cole doesn't necessarily need the win because
he can survive
not next week, but the following week we get Fish and O'Reilly versus Sanity for the belts,
which they're gonna win.
If Fish and O'Reilly take the belts, Adam Cole not quite getting the belt this time doesn't look so bad.
Right.
So I'm not sure what will happen, but if I had to put a bet on it, I feel like Fish and O'Reilly are definitely getting the belts.
So there's a certain thing that we have not mentioned yet. It's probably the biggest thing that happened this week in wrestling. You have the promo with Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt.
Oh boy!
With
we completely skipped over that during Raw.
I know.
I think Brian did it on purpose.
It deserves a little bit of chatter. We have Woken / Broken Matt. And
yes!
Holy shit, was that promo fun? Isn't it weird seeing Bray Wyatt play the straight man?
Yes, but it's good.
It did really, really well.
I think you're gonna get the version of Bray that I've been calling for this whole time, and podcast hasn't been going for a while, but in my head I've been saying that like they need to either go full crazy with Bray, which they never would,
right,
or go full straight. I'm a cult leader. I know what I'm doing, and like you guys are all wrong. And that's what I think they're going to get to. I think we're going to get. He needs to stop the crazy shenanigans because crazy shenanigans versus Hardy's even crazier shenanigans aren't going to work. So like
you have to have him kind of go quiet.
Yeah, like have like him just be an absolute decimating monster. Have him bring out the rocking chair, sit on the rocking chair, do a lot of like weird ominous like Taker type shit, while Hardy is just going absolutely batshit insane. And that's what I think they need to do. Stop having Bray just like grin and chuckle and turn around and do that like that weird like
spider walk
thing, which is not.
I'm fine with that.
It doesn't work. Like it's like Michael Cole will be like, oh, it's scary. Look around. I was like, it's a guy that's upside down.
It's a guy wearing a girdle.
Yeah, like dude, stop. Like, come on.
Doing a crab walk.
Yeah, so I was like that, just like that kind of shit. I think he needs to stop. I think you
actually.
Really
I think
need
it's
to
a Boydle if he wears
is that what
like
it is?
That. It's a Boydle.
Like every.
Oh, that was the worst. I really like that.
It's not my joke.
Every one of Undertaker's movements were calculated, and they were ominous, and they were menacing, and you need to bring Bray back to that. And I think that's what they're going to do. I hope that's what they're going to do.
It looks like that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I was not completely sold on Bray, or I don't know. I think last week I was probably pretty excited about it just because I like both of them.
Right.
It turns out I was going through Twitter, and a year ago, Matt Hardy was tweeting at Bray Wyatt about.
He was still broken at this point in TNA.
That was when he was broken in TNA. Yeah. It might be more than a year ago. It might be 2 years ago, actually.
Wait, no, I think it was last summer, actually. I think you're right.
They had kind of a Twitter feud about Bray coming over to TNA and facing off against the Broken Universe.
Right.
I think it was something like Bray saying, "You know where to find me," or "You know where to find us," because he still had the family at the time.
Sure.
And now I think that we're going to get to see that. I don't see a world in which this makes sense without a new Wyatt family.
Agreed. But my question is, I think somehow we do get a sort of a new coalition with the Wyatts. I don't know who you bring in because they're not going to bring the Bludgeon Brothers over from SmackDown right now because that's working.
Yes.
But Wyatt needs people under him, and of course Matt will get Jeff at some point, and Jeff being out injured right now will only sort of help this angle because Jeff can come back without having to be Jeff Hardy. He can be the sort of Brother Nero character.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that they're going to go full TNA and have a Matt versus Jeff feud, or do you just bring Jeff in as Brother Nero?
I think they'll bring Jeff in as Brother Nero. I hope,
because I really don't want them to do
an
exact.
Cast. I think that the sort of I don't think there's any more like
wrestling
gas
fans
to get
are
out
smart.
of.
They understand what's happening. As long as you don't rush it, it's fine. I would prefer it would go longer than shorter, but like
sure.
If it's not necessary, it's not necessary.
Right.
I think.
I think the Matt versus Jeff thing is. I think that feud, it's run its course.
There was some
period.
Yeah, I don't think that we need another WWE run of Matt versus Jeff.
No,
that promo was just incredible. I was grinning ear to ear the whole time. Just both of them were doing their best work.
They were working well off of one another.
Yes.
So,
in separate rooms, in separate dark rooms, with Matt Hardy possibly recording in like a garage or a bathroom.
Yeah, I don't know where the hell he was. He was just like wearing the Bludgeon Brothers clothes and like in like a shitty green screen area, just being like, ah.
How long before we get a final deletion match?
I don't want there to be a match for like a couple, or for at least a month.
Oh, I mean, I don't think we'll get it before the Rumble, but I think the Rumble is too soon.
Yeah, Rumble's way too soon.
But do you think they hold off? They're not going to do it at Mania because, the final deletion, they'll tape it at, the Matt Hardy house and it'll be crazy and insane, and Vince probably won't want that anywhere near WrestleMania. But they have to do it, right? Like, that's a big part of the
I don't know, the House of Horrors didn't really work.
Right, but
that had more to do with Randy Orton than it had to do with Bray Wyatt.
Right.
Or Randy Orton doesn't like doing shit that Randy Orton doesn't want to do. That's why you get mediocre face Randy Orton.
But I mean, give me Bray and Matt fighting at the Matt Hardy compound. Give me Matt throws Bray into the Lake of Reincarnation and he comes out as rookie Husky Harris for 5 minutes, like they fucking have done before. Give me this insane, what the fuck am I watching, 20-minute Matt Hardy wrestling with a dilapidated boat fucking match, because that's why you brought this character in. Yeah. Don't waste it.
You have this weird thing of like,
who wins? I don't know. Does it matter who wins? But I'm just like,
it doesn't. But what I'm saying is, you have this weird thing where like Undertaker versus Yokozuna in a casket match,
right,
is fine.
Sure,
but Undertaker versus Kane in a Buried Alive match is memorable.
Right.
When you have two characters doing a similar thing, or at least a thing that makes sense, as opposed to just Ted DiBiase throwing the fast person in the world against the Undertaker.
Right.
You can have them play off of each other, as opposed to like Randy Orton is here because he likes punching people and RKOing things.
Right.
In a haunted house because he'll do it anywhere. As opposed to, two people playing in tandem. And I think that both of them enjoy their gimmick enough.
Sure.
Where you can have them work together.
Bray and Matt are I feel like they're just about to enter some Heath Ledger territory where like Bray is always Bray.
Yeah.
And Matt is about to always be Matt.
Matt is kind of always this character now. Like I'm legitimately a little concerned on the side of how into this
I could be wrong,
persona he is.
But I think that Matt Hardy does an entire podcast on Talk Is Jericho in character.
He does, yes, and it's insane.
Yeah. I think Bray Wyatt may have done the same thing.
I don't. That's the one thing I don't like about Bray's character. I wish Bray did not use social media.
Yeah.
Because The Undertaker did not use social media
in the way that he did fairly recently with like the Bludgeon Brothers.
That's fine.
That's amazing. Let him do that. But like it's the same thing with like Dean Ambrose.
Right.
Dean Ambrose, if you go onto his Twitter account, it's been used one time in 2012.
And that was
the profile says they made me start this, and he has one tweet, and it's a retweet of somebody else.
Yep. It's
completely unrelated to wrestling.
It is my second favorite wrestler Twitter account.
Who's your favorite?
Luke Harper.
What is Luke Harper do?
Luke Harper, every single day, he just says, it's like today, his Twitter said, it's Thursday. You know what that means. ... And that's it.
Is that it?
That every day.
Oh shit! You showed me. You showed me this. It goes back like 2 years.
Yeah, like 2 years straight, and he doesn't miss days. It's fantastic. Like even now, as the with this Bludgeon Brothers gimmick, he's still doing it, and I like to think it's this really meta, like staying in character thing. Like I found this phone, but I'm I'm from a cult, so I really don't know how to use it. So this is all I've got.
I completely forgot about this, but during the Shield promo, they mentioned that like they had a match.
Yeah.
And they had Dean be like, I don't know what you're talking about. And Seth like, I sent you a message, and Dean's like, I don't have a phone.
Yeah, it's so good.
Dean and No Phone are my favorite ship.
I'm really glad that God.
My wife hates Dean Ambrose with the passion of 1,000 burning suns.
She's wrong, and she can direct her hatred at Dean Ambrose. She just needs to like smooth some of it to wrestlers that actually like are hot garbage.
Have you shown her? Did you show her that episode of SmackDown I told you to watch?
No, I haven't gotten
It's
to it
so
yet.
good. Dean, I hate to spoil it for you, but at one point, basically Shane kicks Dean out of SmackDown for the night, and Dean is just constantly sneaking back in, but not even really sneaking, just like walking back in. Like at one point, he brings Becky Lynch a pizza. At another point, he comes in dressed as the Mountie. And like he and Daniel Bryan have this exchange, and they both they're corpsing at one point. It's
Daniel Bryan is
so
great
good.
at corpsing. He did like one of those things of like the chicken wing challenge or the hot wing challenge. And like the other dude is like dying. They're eating like Carolina ghost peppers.
Yep.
And he's just completely straight faced. And the other guy's like, how are you okay with this? And Daniel Bryan's like, you know, I have a job where I have to look like I'm not hurt when I'm really hurt.
I like to think Daniel Bryan has those vegan powers that one Evil X in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World has.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't eat meat, and so he's just a fucking superhero.
Vegan.
It's so good. Do we have anything or any fun ideas for some fantasy booking, you guys?
I can probably think of one on the fly.
I want to see either Matt Hardy joins I heard this mentioned somewhere where it turns out that the 7 gods that Matt Hardy's always talking about, that one of them is Bray Wyatt.
Oh, that would be amazing. I would be so happy with that.
That to me is a pretty logical conclusion.
I can see that. You know what? This one's not funny necessarily, but I think I've solved the Bray problem. So, unfortunately,
Still working on it.
Unfortunately, it means you have to split one of my favorite parts of SmackDown. But you have the Bludgeon Brothers as they're the ones causing all the trouble on Fashion Police. The Fashion Police's best friends, the Ascension, they're like, okay, we'll take care of this for you. We get a hoss fight, the Bludgeon Brothers versus the Ascension, and the Bludgeon Brothers just destroy the Ascension and ship them over to Raw, and the Ascension are basically just, they don't know what to do, so they go to Bray.
Oh, shit. I literally have not thought of that, but that would be...
I was trying to think of people to put with Bray, and I was like, the Miztourage is the only like thing I can think of without actually having to move around multiple pieces and fuck shit up. And yeah, the Ascension makes sense because they're like dead now. So if like Bray brings them into the fold because they're dead via Fashion Files, you could do this without having the Bludgeon Brothers thing, but you could do that too, and that actually works.
Gives you a good link. That way you get that faction.
I wonder if they're planning that because they did kind of kill them off.
Right. I mean, if you have to give Bray somebody,
repackage them now.
Absolutely, and you can.
They've been doing weird shit with like their contacts and stuff. So they've been getting a little bit more like creepy looking instead of just like like road warrior or whatever looking.
And those guys can those guys can go. They're
big dudes. They could do it.
They were the top tag team in NXT for over a year, and the crowd was literally they'd have gotten over on the main roster if JBL wasn't a piece of shit human being. If you're listening, JBL, that's what I think about you.
Thackeray, you got anything fun for us?
I think I teased something last time, but I can't even remember what I teased. I'm still working on this Asuka match. I'm trying to figure out what I really want to do with it, but it's good. It's got Mania involved, so not yet. I might have teased Asuka. I'm not
Asuka Brock.
No, it's better. It's better than Asuka Brock.
I could be okay with Asuka Brock.
I think that we should have Asuka face Conor McGregor.
Oh. I'm okay with that.
Just completely go around Ronda Rousey.
And just straight to McGregor. Fuck it, just Asuka versus Floyd Mayweather.
Oh man, that would be great.
Mostly because I'd just like to see Asuka just
kick the shit out of Floyd Mayweather.
Exactly.
I'm gonna say like Floyd would obviously win that match because he already beats women.
Right.
Ugh.
But not in kayfabe. Because they don't talk about that.
This would be a women's revenge match, just like China versus Jeff Jarrett.
This would be Floyd's absolution. This is him absolving himself of all the horrible things that he's done.
Normally, because before Bray did his dreadlocks, which I'm more okay with than his hair, I would have put Bray in the hair match that I've been booking and getting larger, and it's gonna become like a 30-man rumble of hair matches now. So I want to do Bray, and also Big Show shaved his face, so I can't do Big Show because it was gonna be Big Show's beard was gonna be the stipulation because that thing was terrible for a long time.
What you do is you have you have it be an over the road battle royal.
Yeah. Everybody that loses has to
you
shave
only
their
have
head.
one
or whatever hair
the Brutus the Barber Beefcake Memorial Battle Royal.
You have only one person in the match with really good hair, so that you know right away who the winner is.
Bray's dreads just inspired me. So just if we can move back to the final deletion match for a minute, rather than Matt Hardy throwing Bray in the Lake of Reincarnation and the Husky Harris character emerging, what if Bray gets thrown in the Lake of Reincarnation and then Post Malone just walks out? Because they're like the same dude.
Please subscribe, share with your friends if you're enjoying this.
Follow us
really
at
appreciate
Towers UG and follow me at PB and Ladies. I've been doing funny wrestling tweets and I'm really excited about them. I want you to be excited about them too because I'm really excited about them. I think I'm fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
I'll give him that.
Thackeray at PB and Ladies has been fantastic. He started a Twitter feud with a Roman Reigns.
One of the many Roman Reigns.
I'd like to think it was secretly the Roman Reigns. I'd like to think it was his alternate account.
Yeah.
You can find Nick at a New Classic.
Yeah, fucking word.
And
count.
you can find me at BFerg88. I might eventually tweet some stuff.
One day.
I'm trying to do that whole Dean Ambrose gimmick to irritate my wife a little bit more. She legit sent me a message earlier today. My wife does not watch wrestling, and when I started watching wrestling again, made fun of me a lot. And she sent me a message earlier today saying, first off, she has a picture of Chris Jericho that are reacting to Dean Ambrose that she will always send me whenever she hears anything about Dean Ambrose.
It's real good.
She also sent me something that Renee deserves better. So,
I mean, I volunteer as tribute, but Dean's pretty great.
Yeah, I don't understand why my wife hates everything that I love. This is really funny to her, and only she will understand that joke. So yeah, please like, share, follow us.
Randy Orton's in the hair match, by the way. He's my new addition.
For sure.
Oh,
he's in the hair match just to turn him heel again.
I feel like his hair, I feel like he's turning into Guile from Street Fighter. Like it's just slowly growing up and
He either needs to lose his hair or go home, be a family man.
Yeah. Please comment and leave a review because that actually pushes up higher on the charts so that we can be found. We would really, really appreciate it. Buy Nick's book.
Yes, please do that.
You can find it at all major book carriers and some indie places. It is in between days. It is really, really good, really fun.
It has nothing to do with wrestling, but buy it anyway.
I don't think there's any references to wrestling in it, but we know that wrestling fans love buying merch. So if you could do that, we would appreciate it. And thank you. See you next week, you marks.